My name is Marco Leon and I am here to talk to you about a new role-playing game, Enter the Shadowside Destiny. It's a new role-playing game system. We use cards instead of dice. If you're like me and you hear that there is a new system in town, maybe your reaction is to ask yourself, do we really need another system in the universe? Don't we have enough already? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this game is the best thing since sliced bread. This is not the syncretic confluence of narrative and synergistic. So I will only tell you that I had a different purpose in writing this game. I had a different objective. What I wanted to make was something that was narrative. And in a narrative game, what you care the most about is just to make a good story. When you are trying to make a good story, the 300-row chart from the simulationist game gets in the way. And the always win attitude from the win-oriented games gets in the way. I see that many narrative games are co-opting from these two sources. I think they shouldn't. That's my premise. I think that we should be able to do conflict resolution in a way that is very natural and doesn't require math and doesn't require translation, and you don't have to consult a chart somewhere. It's just very fluid. Alright, so let's get to it, right? So this is what we do for conflict resolution. It doesn't have to be these cards, actually. You can buy poker cards for $1 in Walmart and just grab a Sharpie and just mark them. But if you want to support me, you'll use these cards. The 4 attributes are here. So one is combat, you already saw it. Another one is magic, influence, everything else, literally, just everything else. Your character is going to be strong in one thing and weak in another, right? But let's say that he is strong in one thing and that thing is combat, right? So he's strong in it, so he's going to get 3 cards. He has 3 combat cards. But then we said that he's weak in influence because he cannot convince anybody, so he just gets a single influence card, just one. He's weak. And then for the other 2, he's average, so he gets 2. So here is 1, 2 for magic, and here is 1, 2 for everything else. And that's our hand. And what you do with these cards is that the story host is gonna give you a certain challenge at a point in the story. We don't use the term game master. And maybe you think, oh, you're a special snowflake, you don't want to use the term game master. It's nothing like that. There are good reasons why a story host is different from a game master. And trust me, this book is 1/3 philosophy. So and he's gonna give you a challenge, and he's gonna say, you're standing outside the gates of the compound, and he hasn't seen you, you're hiding behind the tree, and then the player goes, well, I sneak up behind him, and I got him in a chokehold. That is the conflict resolution. Can you choke the guard? And the story host is going to say, choking the guard is going to be easy. So you look at your combat cards, here they are, and at the back of them, they have answers, right? So this one is easy and says yes, but. This one is not so easy and says yes, and this one doesn't matter what difficulty it is because it's no anyway. So he goes, yeah, choking the guard is easy. Can you do it? When he says, can you do it? Then you go, boom. That's it. Is the difficulty that he's asking for. It answers his question, can you do it? So he reads it and he says, okay, yes, you choke him out, but. He says, okay, as you're about to choke him out, you suddenly hear the CB radio that the guard is carrying, and it goes, Johnson, we heard a noise. Are you okay, Johnson? Over. I don't know. Actually, I like this scenario. Let's continue this scenario. So let's say that the player says, okay, well, I grab the walkie-talkie. I grab the walkie-talkie, and I go, yeah, this is Johnson here. I have a sore forget the laugh is not part of it. I have a sore throat. Do you have a Tylenol over? And the story host is gonna look at me and go, seriously? Okay. You know what? Convincing the guy over the radio that you have a sore throat and that you're Johnson, I'm gonna say that is not so easy, right? That's the middle difficulty. So easy, not so easy, hard. So then I look at my influence card. I just have one because I'm weak in it. And it says, not so easy, yes, but. Look at that. Not so easy, yes, but. So I answered, like he says, can you do it? Can you convince him? Yes, but. Again, another but. The story host goes, okay, well, you convince the guy over the radio, but he's gonna bring you a Tylenol. Yeah, okay, Johnson. Yeah, I do have a Tylenol actually. I'll be right over. So now you have to move and you have to leave quickly before the other guy comes in. You get the gist of it. So let's get into the book itself. The setting of this book is a paranormal setting. The premise is that the world in which we live is not the only world there is, and there is this parallel dimension, if you will, this overlapping reality that is composed of ghosts, basically. But ghosts are nothing else other than the manifestations of our own mind, our own fears, our own hopes, our own dreams. Whatever we can think of, it has a life in this parallel dimension, and you go back and forth, hence the title, Enter the Shadowside. The book makes the point with, there is a comic book at the beginning. It's beautiful artwork by an artist named Adam Isailovic. There is a section that explains what the Shadowside is, and it explains the concept of hierogamy. The idea here is that there are spirits in the Shadowside who are willing to hitch a ride, so to speak, inside your mind, and they want to be back in the world of the living that is not changing all the time. And so they make a partnership with you. In exchange for certain paranormal powers, they can hitch inside your head. From a setting point of view, it's interesting. From a mechanics point of view, it lets the story host have this incredibly intimate relationship with the players. And what I mean by that is that the story host gets to play the spirit that is literally riding inside their heads. This makes for a very unique experience. It makes for a very tired story host also, but that's the way I like it. The heart of the game, I would say, lies in the interaction between the organizations that are in the Shadowside. Altruistic, neutral, and egoistic, orderly, neutral, and anarchic. Each of these organizations is based around tropes. It's based around archetypes or just paradigms that you imagine certain things to be. And this helps you imagine what is in and what is out. And for each of them, we have a little bit of the story. We have the skills. We have some artwork here of what would be typical characters in them. There is some advice for people who are going to be story hosts. I'm going to make the first 90-something pages of this book free in a PDF, so you can just read it. It's 1/3 of the book. You know, it should be good enough for a preview. So the first section is all about the world. The second section is about the mechanics, which is the system. We went over it with the cards a moment ago. You don't really have to have this deck of cards. I mean, if you want to support me, get a deck of cards. But if you want to play, which is more important than supporting me, if you want to play, just go to Walmart and buy a $1 deck. And here's all the equivalences. Just mark them with a Sharpie, and then you can play it. Here's the character sheet. I find it beautiful, if you don't mind me saying so myself. This is a completed character sheet over here. The last third of the book deals with advice for story hosts, and including a tarot. Technically, we shouldn't call it a tarot because we're not using the actual major arcana and minor arcana. These things are called oracles instead. If you are a story host and if you are in need of inspiration, then there is a separate deck of cards which you can draw from freely, and they're gonna give you inspiration. For example, you could use a Celtic cross, right, and put a card on the top, a card at the bottom, left, right, and the center, see how it changes, the cycles. In the appendix, I included adventure, not really adventure, I included a setting module. It's called the Red Wolf. What a setting module is just giving you locations, it's giving you descriptions of the locations, it's telling you which organization the locations belong to, and it's giving you characters. And it's telling you what those characters are about and what do they do. If you read those characters and if you read those locations, then you're going to get a very good idea of what the story could be. But it's not telling you what it should be, it's not telling you what it will be. Right? It's up to you to figure it out. You know, whatever you end up doing is what you should have done. That sounds a little bit mystic. Before I end the video, I want to mention that we have this concept of an open canon. So if you want to write for Fable Forge, if you want to write for Enter the Shadowside in any way, There is instructions here on how to do so. I encourage you to do it because every product that you write for Fable Forge is something that you're going to get 100% of the earnings for. I'm not gonna keep a dime. It is your work, it's your money. You can sell it on your own. And I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you all the structure that I have. I really want this to become a community. At the end of the book, we also have another comic book by a very talented artist. His name is Hector Bustamante. I would say it's a good book. I don't know, I'm biased, obviously. I hope you like it. Like I said, I will put a preview of the first 90-something pages for free, so you can just read it and see exactly what you're getting. And thank you so much. This means a lot to me. I have been through a very, very long road of creating role-playing games. The role-playing gaming hobby is a very different thing from all the other entertainment, because this one is in our hands. This one is something that you control. You create the story. You're not passively consuming what someone else has made. You're making your own. Anyway, long story short. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact me. There's various ways in this page. And I look forward to making this a success. Thank you. Bye-bye.